back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about my teenage years. So I've already done a video about my childhood and how that went. So today I thought it would be best if we do this in order. So we're going to talk about how I was a teenager and what it was like. So I'll start when I was like 12. So we moved from Airdrie to a farm, and this land was bare land. No house, no well, no power, nothing. So we brought our little camper onto the farm, or acreage, I guess. So we brought that and lived in it throughout the summer. So we moved there at the beginning of the summer and lived in this camper. The first building to go on our acreage was a small barn like shack thing with heat in it, and that was for all the tools, all the cats. It had heat in it for the animals. Yeah, so it was just a place for them to go in the winter, so it was warm. And then at this point we had 2 dogs, and in the middle of summer my mom got me and my brother 2 kittens, and their names were Tiger and Checkers. And they were super cute, and I loved them. So anyways, we were just waiting to get a house onto our land before school started for me and my brother, because it would be really hard to live in a camper over the winter. So I think 2 months before we started school, my mom found a modular home and we ended up moving it onto our land. And it was okay, it was kind of old. So we had a house finally. My dad was really happy about that because he's already had 2 freakouts at this point about getting sunburnt while he was building that first building I was talking about. So he got really badly burnt, and we all told him to put a shirt on, but he didn't. He got lobster red and he was flaking and he couldn't sleep, so he left us in the middle of the night freaking out, and then he went and got some aloe vera gel and came back the next day. So we were all like, whatever. So then he was happy he could finally make his coffee and stuff, and yeah, so we started getting settled into our new house and getting enrolled in school. And I was in grade 7 at this time. I think my brother was in grade 1, but he didn't have as much trouble as I did. The first day of class was okay. I remember being 12 years old, kind of nervous, starting a new school, and hoping, you know, this is like a fresh start, blank canvas. This will be good. And anyways, it started becoming really interesting. So as the semester went on, boys were starting to pay attention to me, and the popular girls, they didn't like that. They weren't having it. So they started making rumors up about me and how I looked like this, or how I was fat, or how I was ugly, or I didn't wear makeup and I was like a little kid, and they were all like wearing fancy clothes and I was wearing like superstore clothes. So they didn't like the way I dressed, and then they were like, she's from the city, that's gross. city girls are disgusting, city girls are dumb. So because I was from the city and I didn't grow up with them because they've been in school together since they were in kindergarten, I was an outcast. So I kind of thought, wow, great. I don't like school anymore. And around that time, I kind of learned about cutting. And it started off really, really, really small. It started off with me biting the erasers out of a pencil and chewing the metal piece flat off of the eraser part and scratching my arm. And then I said, wow, this feels good. And nobody will see it. So I started doing it more. And then I was starting to use scissors. And then I'd use razors out of like a thing to shave your legs. A razor to shave your legs with. I was dismantling them and taking the razors out. So that's when that habit started. And then they started saying, don't pick her for teams in gym. Don't pick her for partners when we gotta do partners in school. And totally ostracizing me from everything. So I got very, very lonely. And then in the middle of the grade 7 part, my mom finally said you can start wearing makeup because I begged her and begged her and begged her I want to start wearing makeup. And I used to get my makeup taken away all the time because I used to do really, really dark makeup. And my mom just didn't like it. She said, you look too old, you look bad, we're taking your makeup away. And I used to get so insecure about that. I used to cry about it. I used to just feel ugly. And she did it one time and I had this really, really short haircut, and I thought if I didn't wear makeup with this really short haircut, I'd look like a boy. And then somebody joked about me looking like a boy and I just lost it. So that happened. And then, so I got really lonely, so I decided going online to all these little social media platforms that were popular at the time, and I found Nexopia. Now I thought Nexopia was so cool because you could message people and you can do all this stuff, and I would post pictures of myself, you know, just selfies or whatever. You think you're cool when you're a teenager and you look back at them and you're like, oh my god. Yeah. So I did those, and then I got a hit from some guy, and I was like, wow, this guy is interested in me. This is like crazy. And he would tell me how beautiful I was, and how, you know, those kids at school are idiots because I am so smart, I am so pretty, and, you know, I was like, well, I want to meet. And he did too. So he actually came and picked me up. And I was like, oh my god, this guy drives and he's older than me. This is cool. But he lied to me first about his age. So there was that lie right there. I eventually found out he was 25, but at this point I didn't care. Because I thought, well, you know, how many other girls have a boyfriend that's older than them and drives them everywhere and takes them out for dinners and takes them out shopping and, you know, stuff like that. So we hung out a lot, and I think it was like 2 to 3 months of this steady sneaking out, going to see him, and, you know, doing all that stuff. And he used to tell me we were gonna get married, and he would never leave me, and I was his girl, and all this da-da-da-da-da. Okay? So, notification. One day, we were at my house, and I was babysitting my little brother. And were drinking in my bedroom, and all of a sudden he's like, you owe me for all the stuff. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm confused. I don't know what he's talking about. It came out of the blue. And he was like, you think this stuff is free? Yeah, I think this stuff is free. You know, I do this all the time. And I was like, still, like, what are you talking about? Like, if I were my boyfriend, I thought, you know, what are you talking about? And then I'm drinking still, of course. And he must have slipped something in my drink. Because like I said in my previous videos that I've been deleting, that I did delete because they just weren't, like, they were subpar. Anyways, he ended up telling me what he does and that I'm going to do the same thing. And I was like, shocked. And I'm feeling kind of weird. And he's like, yep, that's what I do. And then he's trying to get on top of me, and I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'm not ready. And he said, that's too bad. So long story short, my virginity was not a good experience. I was raped in my own home, on my bed, with my brother in the living room. And he said if I told anybody, he would kill my little brother and he would kill my parents. And I had to do what he said, or he would do that. So, what do you do in that situation? Well, you listen. Because a 25-year-old telling you when you're 13 that he's gonna do that, you really believe it. And this guy, I don't know, he might have. I don't know. He just completely switches on you, and then what do you expect? So I did that for a while. I was sneaking out for him. I was skipping school. And he got me into drugs not very long after that point. We went to a lot of parties. He would lock me up into a motel room, and he would sit outside, and he would schedule these dates, and I'd be stuck in this hotel room, and they would pay him, and they'd go in and they do whatever they want to me. And this went on for a while. And he scared me, he really did. Because one time, he's really nice to you, and the other time, he's beating you up and raping you. And, you just don't even know why. Sometimes he doesn't even give you a reason. Sometimes he just says, because I can. And you deserve this, and what would you be without me? And, just totally takes your confidence, your self-esteem, and puts it in a blender and hits the fucking pulverize button. And you're nothing. And you feel like nothing. And he reinforces that by hitting you, getting the other girls to hit you, making you watch other girls get raped, or vice versa. The guy used to make movies, and I think he used to sell them. I don't know, but there was mattresses in his house with video cameras, and I don't know if he was selling the footage. Probably. Why else would he do that? But he did a lot of bad things to us. He would lock us in a room or a closet. Closets were usually the prime thing because you don't have to board up a window or anything. You just throw the girl in, and you have tiny. And he doesn't let you get out to go to the bathroom, doesn't give you any drugs, doesn't feed you, barely gives you water, and keeps it dark. So you could be in there for days and you don't know what time of day it is. You don't know whether it's night or day. You don't know when you're coming out. You don't know if he's gonna beat you up or if he's gonna kill you. You don't know. And you're sick because he's got you hooked on like heavy drugs and you're withdrawing and it's scary. And yeah, that's how he would keep us in line. And if you didn't make us for like a certain amount of money, we called it like our quota. If you didn't meet your quota, you would get beat or raped, and you'd have to go back out there and pay it because you were technically in debt to him. So you were trying to pay for your freedom, but the freedom would never come. So yeah, by the time I was 15, my mom found out, and this was after my ex-boyfriend jumped off a cell tower. And yes, I was still doing what I was doing while I was dating him. And yes, my mom found out and she was very mad. And it was after they got, like my parents got divorced, so this was after, a year after. And she lost her mind. And basically she told me and my brother to get in the car. We got in the car, she was driving really fast, and I've never seen my mom like this in my life. She was driving us to my grandfather's house, so her dad. She dropped us off and drove off and left. No explanation, and my grandpa's like, what's going on and stuff. And me and Trevor were crying, because we had a relative who did this to her own kids. She dropped them off to social services and went off and killed herself. So we were really scared that that was what my mom had planned. And we were right. So my grandpa immediately called 911 and he was like, what's your guys' address? And I gave him the address. And when they went there, my mom, and she's not a drinker, she's not an addict. My mom was a very clean person. But she drank a whole bottle of wine and a bottle of sleeping pills. And they found her crawling to the door to answer it. And they took her to the hospital and they had to like detox her from all the sleeping pills. I think they had to pump her stomach. I don't remember. I was so distraught, but yeah, I almost lost my mom that day. But she didn't know what to do. I mean, there was so much shit going on with her and then me, and you know, she didn't know how to handle it. But she never did that again. That was just the one time she did that. And it was also because my dad brought his affair to the house. And I got really mad at him too, and I was like, you almost killed my mom, and this is your fault. And yeah. That was bad. Because I thought I was gonna lose my good parent, my only parent. Because my dad's not really there, so my mom is really the only parent that I have. So if I lost her, I'd be stuck with my dad and my dad only. And that was really scary. So, yeah, after that, she kind of figured out that she could send me away. So that's what she did. She sent me on a court-ordered detox program called Beachhead, and this was while we were moving off of the farm because my mother couldn't afford it and she couldn't do it alone, so we ended up having to sell the farm. We had all these sheep, we had 2 donkeys, we had a horse, we had cats, we had dogs. It was awful. We had to sell everything. We moved to Cochrane. And yeah, moved to Cochrane. I was still doing what I was doing. Drugs, prostitution. I got really deep into it. It was harsh. And, yeah. So, that went on for 11 years. Until I finally got my shit together. But, yeah. I just... Oh god, I'm at 20 minutes. Okay. I will have to make a part 2 for you guys. I'm gonna end it here though because this is crazy long. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and I will see you guys later. Bye.